81% of American voters say that the economy is their number one issue. So the question is, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? That's the question candidate Ronald Reagan famously asked when running for president back in 1980. And today, we're going to look at the numbers. Next Tuesday, November 5th, America will pick a new president. And the two most likely winners are current Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald J. Trump. Over the last several years, America has probably become more divided than it's been since the end of our Civil War in 1865. So my goal with this video is not to encourage you to vote for any one particular candidate. I just want to arm you with information. So in this video today, I'm going to share the numbers and let you decide for yourself. Voting is a very personal decision, and it's one that you need to come to all by yourself. That being said, this channel is centered on personal finance and travel and early retirement. So given the audience for my videos, I do feel it appropriate to comment on the US economy. I want to quickly thank you all for supporting my young channel. Now, YouTube really only respects two things. That's watch hours and subscribers. That gives them the idea of what videos they should be putting in front of people to watch. Currently, less than 10% of the people who are watching my videos are subscribed. And I want to continue to put out this important information about financial independence. So if you'd like to help me out, please subscribe now. I've compiled the numbers and statistics that I'm going to share with you today from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, Forbes magazine, and factcheck.org. So before I start sharing these numbers, and I think to be fair to both of the candidates, I do need to preface these numbers with what I'm calling the pandemic asterisks. I think we need to view all these numbers through the lens of the pandemic. Keep in mind that the end of President Trump's economy and the beginning of the Biden-Harris economy were both significantly impacted by the pandemic. So to get started, let's talk about inflation. Inflation was up 19% over the first 42 months of the Biden-Harris administration, compared to 6% during Trump's first 42 months. According to the government's Consumer Price Index, year-over-year inflation peaked under Biden and Harris at a 4-decade high of 9% in 2022 before falling to just over 3%. Now let's talk about consumer health, which really just measures how much money does an American family have left over at the end of the month. July 2024's 2.9% personal savings rate, which measures the percentage of Americans' income left over after expenses and taxes, was less than half of April 2019's 6.8%. The savings rate never fell below 5% under President Trump. Next, gross domestic product, also referred to sometimes as GDP. The real gross domestic product tracks the inflation-adjusted value of all goods and services produced in the United States. GDP expanded at an annualized rate of 2.7% during Trump's first 3 years and 3.5% during the Biden and Harris administration. The Trump economy's annualized rate of growth was 1.4%. President Biden and Vice President Harris' growth peaked in 2021 at 5.9%, was 1.9% in 2022, and 2.5% in 2023. Let's talk about the stock market, or what happened on Wall Street over the last 8 years. Both presidencies experienced stronger than average gains. The S&P 500 index has posted an annualized return of 11.8% since President Biden and Vice President Harris took office in 2021, compared to a higher 16.3% under President Trump. How easy has it been to get and keep a well-paying job over the last 8 years? Both administrations oversaw strong labor markets. Since Biden and Harris took office, unemployment went from 6.7 to 4.2%, and average pay is up 18%. Under President Trump, unemployment declined to as low as 3.5% in late 2019 and early 2020. This tied the lowest levels since 1969. Wages grew 15% over his 4 years. How much has it been costing us to keep our gas tanks filled over the last 8 years? Under the Biden and Harris administration, $3.24 is the national average as of September 2024. Under Trump, the average cost of a gallon of gasoline dipped from $2.37 to $2.28 from December 2016 to December 2020. Now, a little bit of a gas price asterisk here. According to the Energy Information Administration, gas prices rose to an all-time high of over $5 per gallon in 2022, shortly after Russia's invasion of Ukraine caused energy prices to spike globally. As the U.S. and its allies vowed not to buy oil from Russia, the world's third largest oil producer. How much is it costing us to eat? The index price of groceries increased 6.5% in total under President Trump, and 2.9% in total under President Biden and Vice President Harris. The inflation rate slowed in recent months, with grocery prices increasing by 1.1% over the last year. What about keeping a roof over your head? The average overall rent price for apartments under President Trump was $1,113. Under President Biden and Vice President Harris, the average overall rent price is $1,360. Rent prices increased by 13.6% over the entire Trump administration and by 21.5% thus far during the Biden and Harris administration. What about keeping the lights on? In total, electricity prices increased 4% under the Trump administration, compared to 28.3% thus far under the Biden-Harris administration. Today's verse of the day is Romans 13:1. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Let's talk again about just how important the economy is to the average American voter. Nearly every voter is considering the state of the economy. 95% say it will be a factor for them in choosing how they cast their ballot. 59% say it is the deciding factor, and 36% say it is an important factor. About 3/4 of Republicans say it is the deciding factor, compared to 42% of Democrats and 61% of independent voters. If you haven't seen my video about how my wallet was found on the side of the road, or if you need retirement information that you haven't heard, you can go ahead and click on those now. Have a great day.